Hebrews 10:35 and 36. Therefore do not cast away your confidence, which has great reward. For you have need of endurance, so that after you have done the will of God, you may receive the promise. That's not a throwaway line in this chapter. As we saw this morning, it is one of the key points that the author of Hebrews wants us to understand about the God that we love and the God that we serve, that He is a rewarder. In fact, if you keep that in mind, it's going to be referred to again in chapter 11 when it says that in order to please God, we have to believe that He is, which makes sense, right? And that He's a rewarder. And I think often we catch ourselves not thinking about God that way, but He's encouraging us to remember that so that no matter what we invest in this life, no matter what we suffer, as we saw in the message today and in this passage, God is providing an eternal reward that is so much greater, that we have a confidence in a God who loves us and cares for us and keeps that promise. I don't know about you, but for me, as I read that, I actually knew a song as a kid where I could sing those two verses, and that idea that I need endurance. Like I can take that into every moment. That's not just, I think today about how I might need endurance a month from now. It's like, right now, in this moment, I have need of endurance, and you do too. So let those verses and that truth about God give you that endurance. Because what you'll see next week when we get to chapter 11 is one of the most famous parts of Hebrews, and it's often called the Hall of Faith. People who believed this promise and lived it out. And so I'd encourage you to read ahead. And so every week at the bottom of the pathway for the next few weeks as we go through chapter 11, it will tell you what to read ahead so that you can get the background story of the people that it's talking about. Because Hebrews is going to summarize a lot of it quickly. And so if you're unfamiliar with some of those names, like Jephthah, who is that? The pathway will tell you at the bottom, hey, read this ahead, so when Hebrews starts talking about it, you'll know who they are. So for next week, we're going to go through Hebrews 11, verses 1 through 7, basically going from creation to Abel to Enoch to Noah. So if sometime this week you take about a half an hour and read Genesis 1 through 9, you'll have all the details, all the background, all the good and all the bad from those 9 chapters of Genesis that back up these 7 verses of Hebrews. So check out Genesis 1 through 9. Remember that your God is a rewarder, and we'll see you next week.